Hello everybody and welcome back to Natural Living. I hope you're all good. So as the days grow shorter, evenings grow darker, there is nothing I love more than curling up under a blanket with a hot water bottle, yes it's that cold, and a warm drink and just having a good read. I love books, I have always loved books. The autumn and winter months are just made for reading so many books, you know, starting your own library or raiding your local library in turn. In today's video, before I go off on one about books, I thought I would share some of my favourite books for this time of year, for, you know, the kind of October, November, December months, the kind of cozier months. I'm going to look at gothic, kind of magical, fantasy, a little bit of self-help as well, just to kind of mix it all in there and keep it varied, so hopefully everybody will be interested. Welcome back to Natural Living, or hello if you are new here. This is the cozy corner of YouTube where we explore herbalism, crystal healing, seasonal living, and all things slow and intentional. So if you love to connect with nature and you are wanting to create a more peaceful life, then please make sure to hit subscribe and give this video a like. I would love to have you stick around. So let's begin with a few atmospheric reads. So starting off with an absolute classic, I do have a hard copy of this. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Of course, you've got to read this at this time of year. If you haven't read it yet, this is the perfect time. This is a very gothic book. Obviously, you know, we all know what it's about. It's the OG vampire book. Very eerie, very atmospheric. You know, there's a lot of kind of misty landscapes, creaking castles, mysterious letters, a little bit of blood, but you know, it is Dracula, so what can you say? It's not just a tale about vampires, it's also about fear, obsession, and the fragility of human courage. There's a really slow build of suspense in this book. I read this book many years ago, and I think I'm going to revisit it this year. I just love it. It's also written in a really interesting way because it's written like letters, so the whole book is people speaking to each other in letters, and it's like Bram Stoker has compiled all of the letters into one book, and then they tell the story of what happens with Dracula. So yeah, I definitely recommend that one. This is an old battered version now, but if you can get your hands on Dracula, I would definitely recommend it. There is also, it's on Netflix now, but I think it was originally a BBC adaptation of Dracula that I would absolutely recommend. I'll put a picture up of it now. I can't remember what it's called. I think it is just called Dracula, but I definitely recommend that. It's really good. It's kind of got like a bit of a spin on it. Yeah, definitely recommend that if you're interested in this kind of literature. So next up, we have The White Queen by Philippa Gregory. So this did once upon a time have a dust jacket. I have lost that. I have no idea where it is. But this has now been turned into a TV program actually, I'm not sure if this is the lady from the TV program, but anyway, this book is incredible. I absolutely love it. So this is a historical novel and kind of starts at the beginning, the very beginning of the Wars of the Roses. So Philippa Gregory is an amazing author and has this amazing way of like blending real history with her own kind of myth and magic and her own spin on it. So the story follows Elizabeth Woodville, who is a woman whose ambition and love for her family put her at the heart of England's monarchy, basically. Without ruining the story too much, she ends up, is it gonna give it away too much? She ends up marrying the king, and she is considered quite a lowly, low birth, not quite a peasant, but also, you know, not aristocratic enough to marry the king. And it's all just a lot of intrigue, a lot of power struggles, a lot of medieval politics, and not in a boring way, in a really interesting way. Yeah, it's very good, very Wolf Hall, but like 100 years before, if that makes sense. I'd absolutely recommend this. It's very atmospheric, very easy to read as well, because I do find with some historical novels they can be quite heavy, but I do like the way that Philippa Gregory writes. It's very easy to follow and you can get really involved with the characters. And the reason why I like this one at this time of year is because there's supposedly she is descended from a goddess, the Woodvilles, and there's a lot of kind of magic and witchcraft and all that kind of thing woven into the story. So yeah, I'd absolutely give this one a go. Or Philippa Gregory as an author in general. She does some really great stuff. So the next one is The Legacy of Helsham Hall by Jenny Keir. So this one is absolutely made for like misty mornings or cold evenings. It is brilliant. So The Legacy of Helsham Hall is like a dual time story. It's part historical, part like set in the modern day. Think things like mysteries, family secrets, and a really hauntingly beautiful house at the heart of the story. It's got that kind of perfect mix of like charm and melancholy with a thread of magic running through it, which is really cool. It's such a good book. I love the kind of gothic Victorian-y books. I think they're so good. It's a story about connection and loss and how the past shapes the present, obviously going into like the dual timeline there. Yeah, one to definitely read on a rainy day. I'd recommend that one. And then the second book by Jenny Keir that I would recommend is The Secrets of Hawthorne Place. It's a similar kind of vibe, kind of Victorian Gothic-y kind of novel. It has that same sort of nostalgic, slightly whimsical energy. It's set between, again, like two timelines, so weaving between the modern day restoration of an old house and then kind of looking back on the lives of people who once lived there. So it's really good. It's quite a warm, nice book. It's very mysterious, very magical, not too like heavy or distressing, as some of these books can be quite dark, and this one isn't that bad, I don't think. But there is still like some emotional depth in there, and she writes the characters really, really well. So now I want to move on to the more kind of magical, whimsical, lighter, if you will, books for this time of the year. So starting off with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is by Helen Fawcett. This is amazing. I really, really liked this book. So Emily Wilde is basically a Cambridge scholar, and she studies fairies, like that is what she is a scholar of, and she goes out on like this expedition to a really, really cold place. I think it's like a Nordic place, with one of her colleagues who is called Wendell Bambleby, which is just an amazing name. But I love it because Emily is like a really stereotypical scholar. She's quite grumpy, and she's a little bit very, very logical, not very emotional, and they end up studying fairies together in a remote village, as I said, in Norway or somewhere like that, and they meet these strange creatures, these fairies. There's this kind of ancient king who gets involved. It's a lot of like old folklore, magical academia, and a kind of slow burn friendship romance kind of thing. It's a bit of a will they won't they situation. It's very gentle, it's very clever. It's written similar to Stoker's book. It's written in the style of it's like her diary entry, it's like her journal, so it's really nicely written. But yeah, I absolutely love this one, and I did read the sequel, whose title escapes me, but that is also very, very good. And I don't know if the author is actually going to write a third book, because I definitely feel like there's so much you could do with this world. Because it's from like a scholarly perspective, it's definitely like a different spin on the whole kind of fairy genre that's like really popular at the moment. So the next one is, well, there's two books by the same author. So it's One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. So, oh my gosh, I read these very recently and I absolutely love them. These are a little bit darker, a little bit more mysterious. The world building in these two books is incredible. It's so deep, it's so meticulous, there's a lot of detail, it's quite gothic. There is magic involved, but it's kind of done in a really different way that I've not encountered before. It's kind of focusing on the magic of a forest, of the woodland, and there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of, again, kind of struggles between the king and the magic. There is a bit of romance in there, but it's not too spicy. It's you know, it's quite tame really, it's quite sweet. But it's more focused on the magic and the kind of doom that will basically happen if they don't contain this magic. What will happen to this very remote town, basically, who have been forced to be remote because of the magic. But I love the depth of characters, and the type of magic used in this book is just really unique. It's like based on magical cards. So I suppose she got her inspiration from, I don't know, like oracle cards or tarot cards or something like that. But the cards, there are like a limited amount of cards. And obviously the wealthy and the elites have these cards, and they have magical powers, and they each kind of, the cards do different things. And it's basically about how they use these cards in like a political power struggle, but also to get rid of this kind of impending doom of the magic. But it's very good, would really recommend them. I think there are only 2 books so far, but really enjoyed it. It's such a unique fantasy story. So next up is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. So this is another kind of dark magical fantasy. Phantasma is think like paranormal, haunted settings, very strong, quite complex characters. It's very moody, very otherworldly, very gothic, quite dark. Perfect for, you know, when you want something that's quite haunting and spooky. Without giving too much away, it's really hard to describe. It's basically about a girl caught between life and death. She has magic, and it's basically about how she struggles to save her sister. And Phantasma is basically this, it's almost like a circus kind of thing that comes to town, and within this you enter into Phantasma, and it's like a competition, and if you win the competition you win like a wish basically. I don't want to give too much away, but it's basically woven into that story. There is romance in there, and it is a little bit spicy, so you know, just watch that one if you're not bothered about that kind of thing. Very well written. And I think there is a second book, but I haven't read that yet. So let me know in the comments if you have read the second one and what you think. So the next one is called The Language of Spells by Sarah Painter. And if you're after something that's a little bit lighter, a bit softer, but still magical, this is a really lovely choice. So it's set in a small English village where everyday life kind of meets magic, basically. It is the kind of magic that just feels grounded and familiar, and it's kind of baked into their world. It's warm, it's comforting, and very gentle, and it's a book that kind of reminds you of the magic in small things like friendship, intuition, and you know, the story is basically about the protagonist finding out where she belongs. So I definitely feel like this fits really nicely with like the kind of slow living, gentle vibes that a lot of us go for this time of year. And then the last section is ending on something really cozy and heartwarming for those really dark wintry nights. So the first one it's called Date with Death, and it is the Dale's Detective series by Julia Chapman. So I actually found this recommended on, I think, Reddit, but it was so good. I absolutely loved it. It's really, it's obviously set in the Yorkshire Dales, so there's a lot of kind of British Yorkshire humour in there, which is great. It's basically about a detective agency. It's kind of very like cozy murder mystery kind of thing. It's very charming, very humorous. There is a very slow burning, will they, won't they kind of romance in there. It's more kind of focused on like the detective side of things. If you're looking for something quite quirky, quite gentle and warm, and you know, something you can read before bed and you won't have nightmares about all these, I don't know, traumatizing things going on, it's not very heavy, so I definitely recommend it for that. And then the last book that I would recommend is Life Lessons from the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So this is by Robin Sharma, and my mum actually got me this for Christmas last year, and I got around to reading it, and I really liked this one. Some of the self-help books I actually find quite difficult to get through. I can find them quite heavy, so I tend to prefer listening to self-help podcasts because I think like the conversational tone of them is a lot easier for me to kind of absorb what they're saying. But this book is basically written in like really short chapters, so it's kind of like a chapter a page sort of thing, and they're all like individual really short lessons that Robin has basically learned. So it's a really nice book if you just want to read like a chapter a night. As I said, it's literally 1 or 2 pages long. I'll read you the blurb. From Robin Sharma, author of the international bestseller The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, comes this life-changing guide to help you achieve your dreams, defeat your fears, and discover happiness that lasts. Through these 101 lessons, you'll discover how to stay strong and positive in tough times, potent strategies to simplify your life and eliminate stress, proven tools to beat procrastination and to get big things done, and profound wisdom to live a truly rich life that not only wows you but makes the world better. Now, as I said, I do find somehow self-help books can be a little bit preachy, and a lot of them can be quite similar, but the format of this one is really nice. It's really easy to read, and because it's so short and snappy, it's very profound, and he kind of gets to the point quite quickly. So yeah, it's really easy to just sort of absorb the message that he's trying to get across. So yeah, I'd absolutely recommend that one if you just want a bit of a self-help vibe during this time of year. It's really, really good. So there we have it. Those are my book recommendations for the autumn and very beginning of winter. Let me know if you have any book recommendations in the comments below, please. I'm always looking for new books. Most of my books I do read on Kindle just because I would probably bankrupt myself if I bought hard copies of all the books that I read. I read most of them on Kindle Unlimited, so yeah, please share any recommendations you have in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like it if you did. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Stay happy and blessed be.